Hey College Success, welcome to week 5 of the semester. So this week goes from September 28th through October 4th. So I'm going to scroll down to our week 5 folder. This week we are in chapter 2. So we will be doing chapter 2 here in just a minute. And just as a reminder, this is when I no longer have any scan pages. So hopefully by now you have your text or you have access to a text. So I will go over the PowerPoint here and talk about your 2 assignments that are due this week. So if you want access to the PowerPoint, just go into materials. And there are the slides right there. So I'm going to pull those up and use those as we talk through chapter 2. So chapter 2 is about setting goals and choosing a career path, and you'll have your scholarly article there to start us off with, but I'm going to go ahead and go to setting goals. So I know you've probably done lots of activities with this, maybe even this semester, with setting goals and just making sure you're clear on what your path is and where you want to go. But chapter 2 talks a little bit more about like how to set effective goals. And so first, the benefit of goal setting in general is just because it obviously gives you a little bit more motivation if you set a goal and you're working towards something, but also it improves your overall well-being. It's not just your academic well-being if you have an academic goal, it's your overall well-being, and it leads to more positive emotions. So our chapter 2 does talk about the ABCs of effective goal setting. So for instance, I often have students say, their goal this semester is to get good grades. Okay, that's a nice goal to have in mind, but it's not an effective goal because it's not these things. So what do you mean by good grades? Because a good grade might be an A, someone else might be a C, so you have to be a little bit more specific. So that's what the ABCs talks about. A meaning aim high. Challenge yourself. Know your limits, but challenge yourself to do your best. So if you are usually an A or B student, maybe set your GPA goal for like a 3.8. That's a pretty high expectation of yourself, and it gives you something to work toward. Believe in yourself, so put some belief, some self-efficacy behind that, so that way you're more likely to put effort forward. Care and commit. It's one thing to set a goal, but then you actually have to spend time working toward the goal. So setting time, energy, resources, whatever it might be aside so that you can actually make progress toward that goal. And then specify and self-reflect. So that's where I come back to the, make sure you're specific. Good grades, that's not very specific. 3.8, that's specific. And self-reflect. So halfway through the semester, you can be like, yeah, you know what, it's going really well. I think I'm on track. Or, man, this A&P class was a lot more difficult than I thought. I'm going to go ahead and allow myself to maybe adjust my goal to a 3.6. So that's okay. Like you can monitor and adjust as needed with your goals. Also in your chapter, it does talk about an interesting research study. I thought this was really neat. They did a longitudinal study, which means they took participants from one time period to another, in this case 1979 to 1992. You can see just how many thousands of participants, and they asked them to set goals as it relates to degrees and what degrees they wanted to set. Well, of those, 43% fell short of their goals, so whatever goal they chose, associate, bachelor's, they fell short. 49% achieved, and then 8% exceeded. And what they found was that even though some people, and by some I mean almost half, fell short, it did not have a downside in terms of a long-term like depression or emotional cost. In fact, because people aimed high and they worked toward a goal, it actually led to higher expectations and lower levels of depression. So it didn't have a long-term like downside to it. Because they set a goal and they worked toward it to begin with, it had all those positive connections to it, even if they didn't end up meeting that goal. So you want to challenge yourself. That's the ABCs. Challenge yourself. Believe in yourself. Self-efficacy. Care and commit. And specify and self-reflect. So those kind of go over those ABCs again. All right, so that is goal setting. Next is the career exploration and decision making. Now I realize that some of you in here, you already have a career path. You may even be taking classes that are connected to your career. Some of you are CCP students and you're not sure what you're going to do. So this section in your textbook will kind of hit everyone a little differently depending on where you are. One of the things it does talk about is how important it is to to find a career that matches your personality, your identity, who you see yourself as. So you'll see more about this identity status in the chapter. And then also there's a lot of theories about how we come to our career decisions. And so there's this research that says who influences our career decisions? The biggest influence is our parents. So maybe a parent wants us to go into a certain field, or a mom or dad was in a certain field, and so you want to follow their footsteps closely, not super close, but behind them are friends, and then you can see how everyone else kind of fell in this research. So it does really show that other people tend to have a pretty big influence on our decisions. But there are three main career theories our textbook starts discussing about how we come to the decision to land on a certain career. The first one is social cognitive, and we kind of touched on this with this pie chart here. Social cognitive, meaning that other people encourage us or support us or suggest career paths to go into, or sometimes we just simply watch other people. Sometimes you see like, oh, I had a teacher that I really think did a great job. I want to become a teacher. Or I was in the hospital and I really appreciated nursing. So sometimes just watching other people. And then the cognitive is that self-efficacy, how you feel about yourself, how you believe in yourself. So those two work together to allow you to come to a career decision. Another theory is happenstance theory, where it just kind of happens. It's just what it sounds like. Careers are a result of planned and unplanned events. Maybe you think you're going to go down one path, but you just happen to strike up a conversation with someone or take a self-assessment, and it just doesn't, you want to go in a different way. It just happened. So sometimes a little mix of planned and unplanned events is that happenstance theory. And you'll see in chapter 2, it talks a lot about like taking self-assessments, knowing who you are, what is your personality, and that relates to this person environment career theory. So knowing what kind of intelligence you hold, what kind of environment you enjoy, all those things are important. And you're going to take an assessment this week that'll kind of talk about some of these things as well. Career indecision, it says up to 65 to 70% of students don't know what major to choose. And oftentimes we see students change their major 4 to 5 times. What leads to that? Well, sometimes you're just not ready. Sometimes students come right out of high school and they think that college is what they need to do, and even if they're not ready. And so it kind of leads to this indecision. Lack of information, maybe you just don't have the right information, or it's inconsistent. And there are lots of other reasons, but those are the big reasons why people tend to be indecisive with their career. Self-assessment and making sure that your values match with your career choice are really important. So here are just some examples of values, and your chapter 2 gives some more examples, but looking to see what kind of salary do you want? Do you want leadership opportunities? Do you want to help others? And then making sure that the career you choose kind of matches a lot of your values, because if not, it's going to lead to some career dissatisfaction. So you'll see this again in the assessment you're going to take for this week, but knowing your abilities and multiple intelligences can help you match up with a chosen career and make sure it's the correct career for you. Chapter 2 also talks about transferable or soft skills. These are the skills that your technical skills are going to get you the job, right? Knowing how to teach, knowing how to be in IT, knowing business, that's going to get you the job. Your transferable or soft skills are going to help you keep the job, because they're going to allow you to be a really valuable employee, because you can communicate, you have a positive attitude, you're flexible, you can work in teams, and employers really value these kind of skills. And so sharpening these, usually maybe through just sometimes life experience allows you to practice flexibility. Sometimes there are workshops or classes that allow you to sharpen these tools, but making sure that you also pay attention not only to your technical skills, but also to your soft skills, because that's going to really make a difference as well. And then again, you'll read about Ocean inside chapter 2. It's the different kind of personalities, and again, matching those with your career choice. It starts to kind of wrap up here with learning about your careers. I'm going to go to a couple of these websites here in a moment. So some of you are already really well researched, and that's great. You should research your field before going into it. Some of you are undecided, so you might not have done a lot of research yet, or you're just really at the beginning and so you haven't explored it a lot. But I'm going to point out 2 of these websites real quickly here. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you go to this page, bls.gov, and you type up here, and I'm just going to say physical therapy. I'm going to go to this. not right now. And I'm going to find like which one kind of fits. Maybe I want to be a PTA. I'm going to click on that. And it's going to give me a lot of different information here. And some of these pages are set up a little differently than others. But look at all this information about their wages, people that are hiring, employment. There's just lots of information here. Let me go back to if I wanted to be like a full physical therapist. You can see this page looks different as well. I like this setup a little bit better. So they give a summary, what they do, where they work, the education and things you have to do to become one, pay you can expect, job outlook. So lots of information. So I really like the BLS. Another one I point out is the ONET Online. So again, I'm going to type in physical therapy, just keep it consistent. I'm going to click on physical therapist. And this one gives lots of information, so it can be a little overwhelming, but still, like the kind of tasks, the kind of things they need to know, and the skills and abilities. So those are great ways to start getting informed on your field if you're not already, is using those different kind of websites. And then finally, you can also maybe interview someone in the field. It's great to read about them, but then if you can job shadow or talk to someone who's in the field, it can give you a little bit different perspective about what they like, what's challenging, how did they get into this field. So that's another way to learn about your career. All right, so that is the content of Chapter 2. So again, I encourage you to read the chapter in your text and then look through those slides. And then you have 2 assignments. There's no discussion forum this week. Rather, both assignments are due by Sunday, October 4th for week 5 attendance. And you'll see the note again, only completing one will earn you half attendance. Both will earn you full week 5 attendance. So let's scroll down to our actual assignment area. The first one, this kind of deals with that goal setting that a lot of Chapter 2 focuses on. So you'll click in, it's the 10 and 25 year from now, you. It'll open up into a Word document. And you'll see just like a little table. It's going to ask you to think about some goals, what these different areas of your life, and if you have like another area, you can come up with it or you can leave it blank. What is it going to look like 10 years from now? And then again, what is it going to look like 25 years from now? So these are really some long-term goals, but it's kind of making you think about what you're going to look like or do or have accomplished in the next 10 to 25 years. And it can also serve as like a source of motivation. What are you working toward? Why are you here? Because what do you want to see for yourself in the future? So you'll fill that table out, save it, and then when you click in there, as usual, you'll just attach it in there and submit it. Okay. The next assignment, now this is 2 steps. You'll go in, it's the Career Services assignment folder, and you'll see that there's another little video in there to show you like how to register, but I'm gonna walk you through it. So part 1, this is the assessment I alluded to earlier. You are going to take this assessment. So you're going to click there. It's going to take you right to Career Coach. If you're at the Stark State homepage, there's also a direct link there. I'll show you. If you scroll all the way down at the bottom, there's a link for a Career Coach there as well. So you can go either way. All right, Career Coach. I would recommend signing up just so that your results are saved. That way, if by some chance you X out, you don't have to take the whole thing over again. You can certainly take it as like a guest, but I would recommend signing up and just using your Stark State username and password to keep everything consistent. But when you get here, after you sign up, or if you decide to take it as a guest, you're going to click on Take the Assessment. And you're going to take the 60-question assessment. Okay, I know it sounds like a lot, but honestly, when you get in here, this is the kind of questions you would like to, and then you just kind of tell you want to do these kind of things. And it just walks you through those 60 questions. For our purposes, real quick, I am going to take the 6-question one so I can show you what the results look like. Again, you are taking the 60 questions, but I'm doing this just as a quick one. And there we go. When you are done with your 60 questions, you're going to get your results. It's going to tell you your top kind of personality traits. And then when you scroll down, it's going to give you your career matches. And so you'll look and see, it'll top all the way down to very small matching here. But I encourage you to kind of explore, look around and see, click on your highest match, and then it's going to break it down even more. Here are the different kinds of jobs in that big field. You click on it, and then it's going to give you even more options. So let's say I wanted to go into teaching social work. Then it's going to give you the information about that particular field. It's going to give you just an overview, an about, some wages. So that's a nice, results to allow you to kind of look around and see. I encourage you to click around, look, it has live job postings. I mean, there's so much information in this Career Coach. What you're going to turn into me, however, is back here at this original assessment page. You're going to download your results or save them, as long as you have them somehow. So I'm just going to download my results. Maybe. Let's try it again. Sometimes it takes more than one. Well, my computer is not going to agree with me. So if I wanted to save them, that's when I would have an account. So hopefully yours, there we go, just took 3 times. So you'll get your results, and I'm going to download them, and I'm going to maybe save them. You can see I've done this before. And there it is. When I go back in here, that's just the first part. Remember, taking the survey, taking the assessment is the first part. The second part of the assignment is to watch this 20-minute video on career services. And what it does is you'll see it'll walk you through your results so you kind of know what to do. And I know I clicked around a little bit, but this one goes in a little bit more depth about how to do that. When you watch this video, all the way to the end with sound on, I will run a report, and it'll say, so-and-so, and it'll have a little check by it, so I know you watched the video. That's how you get the rest of your points. So taking the Career Coach survey is 20 points. Watching that video is 10 points, so 30 points total for both parts. The only thing you're actually submitting, though, is the actual PDF results of your assessment. So there's a Dropbox down there. You'll just click in there, and you'll attach that assessment results right in there. And I'll see that, and then I'll be able to see that you watched the video. Okay, so going back into Chapter 2, Week 5, you are turning in your 10 to 25 year from now you and your career services assignment. Remember, that is 2 parts worth 30 points. Please make sure you complete that. Both due by Sunday, October 4th for Week 5 attendance. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a great week.